Now, one of the big partners and one of the big reasons why you guys were so successful is you had some help with Varsity Partners and Tim. Can you talk about what that relationship looked like and how important it is, even as someone who may have a great creative staff or a great design staff in-house, to work with these partners out and externally and be able to leverage them?
They've been great. We met Varsity Partners a little bit over a year ago, and from day one when I met them, I just really liked their energy. And they've been a great partner in sharing the vision and taking time to really discuss what our vision is. And then they were able to take our words and our thoughts and really put it down on paper, really kind of express that, where we didn't know what we had a thought, but we couldn't really paint that picture.
Yeah.
They painted a picture for us and really put it to life.
And how important, Tim, on your end is being able to work with a collaborative partner like Josh and being able to make that vision come to life for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Open collaboration, we always say, between myself and my two partners at Varsity, that that's always going to yield the best solution. Open communication, being honest with everybody, and really looking at the long view vision of everybody that's involved, tying them in, and starting to bring that to life a little bit. I think that working through this project, understanding the history, the legacy of the program, having the support of Josh and his team to really understand the intricacies of it, to help portray that was definitely a big part as well.
So you guys aren't tired of emailing each other back and forth, right?
Now we've got a standing conference call each week. And It's got to the point where it's pretty quick. We get right down to it. But
they started pretty lengthy, but at the beginning of the engagement. But as we've gone along, we've been able to streamline it a little bit.
It's always a positive, and now that you've seen it all come to life, whatever the timeline may have been, can you imagine that this is where it would have been when you first started?
Go ahead.
I'm an eternal optimist.
Yeah.
So I hoped and believed that we'd get to this point.
Yeah.
But there's the life cycle of a project where early excitement, and then you just kind of get into the issues or conflicts, or we got to work through this and this, and you kind of get to the point where, all right, well, I just hope it's decent or good, and then the pieces start coming together, and you see a little glimpse here and there, and then we're at the point now where it's almost finished, and you go, wow, I thought it was gonna be awesome. This is even better than what we originally even thought.
I mean, obviously, from our standpoint, we were always confident that we'd be able to hit the timeline, especially with the production partners that we were working with. They were the ones to step in and put in the work once we kind of set up the overall brand and visual strategy to it. So we were confident about the timeline. Definitely moments that we had in between of how is this going to come to life? What's the production going to look like? Is it going to reflect the history in the proper way, and a lot of back and forth, but it really came down to the entire team collaborating and having that communication and being open about one style that we might want to use versus another, and the relevance behind that decision, why we created it, and the purpose that drove it.
And we've been talking about it, and Josh and I spoke about it earlier, and the fact that you're creating an experience, a 360-degree experience for fans. As soon as they enter the stadium, they're looking for something beyond just what's on the field. As someone who's dealing with people like Josh, and in a good way, right, obviously, what has this experience shift been like for you guys, and where have you seen the industry kind of headed?
Yeah, it's a great question. So our initial engagement actually started a little bit on the strategic side of doing a fan experience audit and assessment, really looking at the opportunities to enhance that. And a lot of the recommendations that we all worked on and we felt that were valid were on the technological side, definitely from a brand side, a cultural side, and an emotional side for the fan. Our purpose kind of in the world is to help strengthen the brand's relationship with the fan at the end of the day, in this case. And so, when we looked at it through that lens, that was the foundation that was laid in order to come through with this type of initiative. The way that we see the market, or kind of the trend in it going, is that I think that we've seen a lot of different stadiums and facility specific, not brand specific, but they're built recently for volume and not experience. And so there's a little bit of a kind of a reverse back to looking at the experience and making sure that it's something that fans can really connect to on an emotional level, and it's not just about the idea of how many people can you pack into a stadium for a game. And I think to watch a game versus experience it.
Yeah, and that's important, right? At a place at Georgia where you can have great fans.
Yeah, and I think one of the elements I think when he was talking was understanding what your venue is. We compete with a lot of newer facilities that are a completely different experience. Larger concourses, newer, indoor facilities that have different opportunities we don't have. So embracing what we have and not shying away from it, but embrace the elements we have And I think that's what one of the great things about this project and what Varsity was able to do was focus on the elements we have, work with it, and really get that feel. And I use the term, I always thought about Wrigley Field or Fenway Park and then those elements, and I think that's what they've done a great job of that same feel.